Hello, and welcome to Comprehensible Confusion, where we take the confusion in the world and make it just a little bit more comprehensible. I'm SaintofVirtue, or just Saint for short, and here we're going to be talking about economics. In particular, what is a stock, and why does it seem to matter to everyone? So, first off, let's go ahead and grab a gold ingot. In fact, 2 stacks of 30 gold ingots, because when we're talking stocks and shares, we're talking basically money, and we're going to need some. So first, let's take a look at Ye Olde Charcoal Shop. It's owned by this gentleman here. And it takes wood, slices, dices, smokes it, hammers it out, and turns it into charcoal at the end of the day. And his little business is doing quite well. It's doing so well, in fact, that he's struggling to keep up with orders. He has more people asking for charcoal than he can deliver in any period of time. So he would like to expand to this new HQ building here. Isn't it glorious? But there's just one tiny problem, is that that's lots of gold. Lots of gold for that new HQ. And he doesn't quite have that. He is making money now. And he could be making good money. But he's not making enough to just flat out buy this HQ. And if he bought that HQ, he could probably double, triple, maybe even quadruple his processes. Look how much stuff was back there. It's amazing. So in order to get some extra money, he's decided he's going to go public with his business. And he's going to start selling some shares or some stocks. They mean, in essence, the same type of thing. So we can buy a share of the company for 30 gold ingots. Each one of these blocks of diamonds represents a share, so let's go ahead and buy 2 of them. And what this represents is that we have bought 2 tiny slivers of this company. We own 2 tiny, tiny slivers. In order to keep control of his company, he's going to keep the vast majority of stocks and shares to himself, however, because each one of those represents a part of the company. We own a tiny, tiny fraction. He wants to own the majority. It is his business. And since we own a tiny fraction of the company, if the company does better, our tiny fraction is going to be worth more. So this gentleman here, Ye Olde Charcoal Shop can now afford the new HQ. So they have now bought the HQ because he sold tiny slivers of the company. We own some of those tiny slivers though, and they still are part of the company, and we get a say in what we want to have the company do because we own a tiny fraction of it, but it's still part of it. And that's why they have what's called a shareholders meeting. We can come in here, although it's usually done on a phone call, and we can vote the number of shares that we have on each of the topics. So we can vote for 2 shares. Fantastic. We get 2 votes. It's very democratic. Each share you have represents a vote. A member of the company. Oh, he has a whole stack. He gets 64 votes in this little business here. Wow. So we'll get outvoted pretty easily. And the CEO of the company? Oh, wow, look at that. He's got 7 stacks of shares. And you'll find that a lot of companies actually pay their CEOs and other high executives in stock as well as other salary. Because if the stock goes up because they're doing a good job, they'll make more money. It's an incentive for them to do their job well. And the person who has the most stock is called the chairman. Oh, look at that. 10 glorious stacks of stock. And since he has more than the rest of them, he's the chairman. And since he has more than both of them combined, whatever he says goes. If he decided to sell some of his stock, however, to, say, just some of the other members, to give away some of his stock, he still has the most stock. He will still be the chairman. However, if the CEO, with his 7 stacks, and the member now with his 4 stacks, combined their forces and voted on the same thing together, they could outvote the chairman. And the thing is this represents the direction the company goes. Whatever is decided in the shareholders meeting is implemented by the CEO and is where the company goes. In fact, if the stockholders have enough stock, they can even say, we think the CEO should be fired and hire a new CEO. So having a little bit of management in a company is important, especially if you're managing the company. And it all started from this little business. Say, I'm going to give you a tiny sliver of my company for money. And now we own a tiny sliver of this company. And because this is worth more than this, say it's, 2%. We own 2% of this, but that's 2%. And it's worth a lot of glowstone at least, and probably a lot of gold, which is why you'll see stocks go up, because they think a company has become more valuable. This has been SaintofVirtue of Comprehensible Confusion, and I hope I've made that just a little bit clearer for you all. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.